Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another event video on Marvel Strike Force. Now, today we'll be talking about the Recruiting Mockingbird event, which is going to go live on Monday at 2 p.m. Also, in this video, too, we'll be taking a look at Alchemical Assault, aka Coordinated Assault, the ISO 8 Energy Spending Alliance-based event. That starts on Tuesday, but we are going to cover both of the event milestone masks in this video here today. So if you need to know exactly what you need to do in order to get that 3.5-star Mockingbird, which is probably where we're going to land, then you need to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I know that there is still a lot of people out there that are watching my videos but are not actually subscribed to the channel, believe it or not. So double check, click that subscribe button, and if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. All right, so before we get started with the rest of the math, I do want to do the final recap for the month of September. And this is where we're going to be landing pretty much, unless something random shows up. And things are looking pretty good. So we're approximately, I would say, about 104,000 surplus over the 800K that you need for the event milestone, the full month long. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to have 904,000 now. It means that if you've done everything that there is to do in this month, there's a total of roughly 904,000. Actually, you know what? There might even be... no, there might actually be another... There might be a fifth free claim, actually. So it might be 908,000. So there'll be a little bit... There might be another 4,000 on top of this. But either way, it's still quite a bit. And it's not as high as it was in August, though, because in August we were almost 1 million. But, you know, there's still a lot of wiggle room, which means that you don't need to necessarily complete everything that there has been in this month, especially the alliance-based events. Because I know that there's been some complaints about, you know, people being in alliance-based events that are unable to clear, you know, some of these milestones to get the additional points for that. So you don't need to do that. And that there's a lot of wiggle room there. I think 100,000 is a fair bit. So as long as you're doing the solo milestones in the main events, I think that's really all that matters, and that you're probably going to make up for it elsewhere. So don't worry too much about that. Now, before we get started, though, I do want to start with Alchemical Assault. Now that we're here, this won't take too long. So it is a 5-day alliance-based event, spending ISO 8 energy, of course, and earning allied supply orbs. Now, there's a small little issue because we don't really know necessarily how many of these orb fragments that we're going to be getting. It wasn't made abundantly clear, you know, in the blog that how we'd be getting them. Now, in the past, we have been getting them through Alliance donations and for the free claim. But there have been times where we did not get it through the Alliance donation and we got it instead through a web milestone. So it's varied a little bit. So for the purposes of this, what I've done is I have basically gone and put the amount of ore fragments that I think that we're going to be getting based on previous versions of this event. I have listed it as a daily free claim. I think that we're going to be getting a 2,000 orb fragments per day. Now that could be 1,000, not 2,000 in the free claim, and then 1,000 through... I'm almost certain that we used to get a full orb in the Alliance donation box. That could still happen, which means that we could get, say, 2,000, for example, from the Alliance donations and 1,000 per day from the free claim, something like this. So this is just 2,000 per day. It could be a little bit more. But so the takeaway from this that I want to let you know is that there's 39,000 event currency in this. Also, depending on how many ore fragments that we're expected to get, you may not actually get any blue 4 or 5 ions. There is 475k blue 4 and 425k blue 5. However, it's not looking too hot in terms of where the placement is. And why did not... Okay, my camera just froze up a little bit. Anyways, but they're basically here at the bottom, the last 3 milestones. So, I don't know. We might be getting this like 630k. And if that's the case, then we're getting a little bit more than the fragments that I've listed here from the free claim. That maybe there is the Alliance donation box as well on top of that, because the current sort of estimation is not even that high. In terms of the, we've now changed from the Apocalypse Bounty Orb to the to the Blue 5 Ion Orb, and there's a total of 23. However, Currently, most of us are probably only going to get 4 of them because a lot of them are stacked up in those final milestones. So, kind of crap there. So this isn't really a very good event for us this time around, it would seem. Our ISO subtotal is 1130, but that's going to result in 2,260 points per day. Now, over 24 people in a full alliance, that's about 54,000. Multiply it by 5 days, and we're going to get 270k, so that's the subtotal there. Plus the previous subtotal for the allied supply or fragments, that's about 240k. Now, unless we get more than that, you know, maybe we'll get a little bit more of the above stuff, but otherwise we're not going to get much. And this results in 511k, which is about halfway to milestone 17. So milestone 17 is this final one here, actually, with the tarot cards. So we won't get this 5,000 tarot cards. We may if we get more allied supply or fragments, but don't expect that necessarily. You could spend more cores and push the ISO 8 energy for your alliance, but honestly, I wouldn't bother. There is 100k blue 4 ions, but I don't think that's really worth it. It's not even a blue 5 ion milestone. So yeah, this event doesn't actually look very good. So that's all I have to say about Alchemical Assault. Let's go to the main course here, which is the Recruiting Mockingbird event. Let's zoom in one more time here. So let's scroll down. We have Recruiting Mockingbird. This is a 7-day event. This is primarily involving war, alliance war, and spending campaign energy. Now, spending this campaign energy is going to result in getting currency, which is for an event store. And then you need to spend that currency in the event store to get points. We're going to talk about that, though. So total milestone points required for this event is 400k. I'm dubbing this a Kraken Stone because the amount of points that you're not even anywhere close. Yeah, so I don't want to call it a Whale Stone anymore. We're going to dub these Kraken Stones. There's going to be some Whale Stones and Kraken Stones, and just it's all mixed in together. There's 178,000 points that you need to get 178,000 milestone points to basically get all of the event currency plus the event item. And so just to double back here with the chart here, that's the Mockingbird's Avengers contract, which is at 178,000. That's also the same milestone where you're going to get 12 augmented shield tech. So that's pretty nice if you ever wanted a G16 Mockingbird, or maybe put it towards Kestrel. Actually, in fact, for Dark Dimension 6, then there is some teal shield tech here, which is really nice if you still need some. It actually might be possible to get the additional 18 down below here at 277,000. You won't be able to get this with 200 cores daily, but if you're willing to do about 400, I think you will. So let's continue on. So if you want to get the 2-star Mockingbird unlock, you only need about 61,000 event points, milestone points. That's pretty easy to get, considering it's nowhere near the goal we need to hit for the event currency. You'll have no problem unlocking her. She's still 45 shards unlocked, so that's fine. There's a total of 180 shards in this milestone. However, those last 45, it's not happening. I'm just telling you right now, it's not happening. So realistically, most of us will get either 100 shards or 135 shards. There is which will put you in range of a 4-star once she goes into the pass, like all of the other characters have been doing. So, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Now, the one thing that we don't know is we don't know how much the free claim is going to be. However, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be 500 per day. It could be 1,000 based on how high the milestone points is. So who knows? It could be super generous, but I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to say 500 per day. And that's basically, over 7 days, 500 over 7 days. So we're going to add that in later. It could be 7,000. It could be nice, but who knows? Now you're going to get some points from the web milestone, and I had that open here in a second. So you're going to want to do 10 raid battles every single day. No problem, right? I mean, if you have 2 raids running, it shouldn't be a big deal. Not only do you get 3,000 tarot cards per day as well from this, you get some armory orbs. You also get 3,500 mystical energy. Now, when you actually spend that in the store, though, that's going to convert into about 7,000 points per day. So I've added that in. So 7,000 per day times 7 days, that's 49,000 event milestone points that you're going to get from spending that. Make sure you're spending it. That's how you're actually getting the score. So now the other points, you're going to get a war battle. You're going to get scores for war battle with new Avengers. However, I think you're only going to get about 20,000 of this. You're not going to, unless you buy Tigra, you're not going to have her free to play. So you will be able to, because this is a very early unlock, you should probably be able to use Mockingbird in basically your final war of the week. This is going to be 3 wars, so you're going to have the full entire week. So at least by that 3rd war, hopefully that you have Mockingbird unlocked, and you can just shove her in a war battle and you'll get an additional 5,000 points. You'll just have to do that somewhere to get that. There is some additional points for Tigra, but I'm not including this in the reasonable score cap because you'd have to buy her, basically. War battles, you have to do 24 war battles, and that's going to give you 96,000 points. It's quite a bit, and honestly, this is a good 40% of the total score. The rest of it is going to come from spending. Campaign energy, which you get from a currency ratio of 2 to 1, so 2 points for every energy spent. This is in the event store, so make sure that you're doing this in order to get, the actual points that you need. And do not wait on sitting on them. My experience from event stores is that you don't always get the right amount of days to actually spend it, and you have to spend it within those 7 days of the milestone. You might be able to spend it afterwards, but you're not going to get milestone points for that. So I just want to be very clear that make sure that you're spending on, and maybe we'll do another video on what to spend it on if it's very complex. My guess is I'll just be kind of looking at some teal unique gears, maybe some teal minis, and probably some teal catalysts, honestly, and maybe some origin gear, because I've been doing that a lot, actually. I've been taking a look at what I need for Dark Dimension 6, and for me, it's actually about 1,500 teal health and focus catalyst, so if that's in there, I'm probably going to buy some of that. Now, in terms of the total amount of campaign energy that you're going to get per day, I said this in other videos, this is the same table, I copy and paste it, whatever there's campaign energy involved, you get about 1,108. And that's for all the stuff that you do here. I'm not going to go over everything, but that's what you get. This is 200 cores daily worth of energy, though. So just to keep that in mind, we're starting off at that point, and I'll kind of show you what the numbers look like with 400 cores daily as well. So I have, kind of the reason why I am using an 8-to-1 ratio here for how much mystical energy you're going to get. This is the same as the Apples of Eden or whatever from July. I believe it was one of the, it might have been the Beta Ray Bill event, or no, not Beta Ray Bill, sorry. It was somewhere in nowhere. It was the Asgardian apples, right? And so that was an 8-to-1 ratio. And that's the last time we actually had something like this in terms of an event store. Now, the reason why I believe that this is the case is because they want you to get 3.5 star typically on character releases, and no other combination of ratios will really get you that other than this. So I'm pretty confident that this is the case. If you were to do it from a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2 ratio, the milestone points that you would get at the very end would be significantly low. You wouldn't even get a 3-star Mockingbird if it was that low, and so I just really don't think that that's the case. So this is what I'm going with. However, if there's any major change, I will actually post the corrected version on my Discord channel when the event goes live. But for now, I do believe that this is the case. So knowing that, we do this every single day for, actually, let's just say 7 days, actually. 7 days, my bad, sorry. Oh, and wow, there we go. Let's change numbers. So now we will, for sure, get the milestone for those additional Mockingbird shards. We'll take a look now. So that actually gives you about 124,000 milestone points after you spend, right? Make sure, so it's 62,000 currency that you then need to go and spend, that you're then going to get the points for. Actually, it's the 62,000 plus the currency above as well. So all of that needs to be spent in order to get the points. The points that you're going to get from this part of the event, though, 124,000. And then plus the 96,000 from the Alliance War up here. And then we have the 49,000 from the web milestone. And we'll go on and tack on the free claim, which I think is going to be around 3,500. It could be a little bit more. Honestly, that one's not really a big deal. So let's add just 3,500 here. And that's going to give us a score of 296,000. So where does that get us in terms of the milestone? Well, let's bring that back up. Not Alchemical Assault. That was the wrong table. Let's go Recruiting Mockingbird. That gets us through into milestone 17, past milestone 17, which is the one that I was talking about with the 18 teal shield tech and also the 35 Mockingbird shards. You're also going to get a whopping 250 gold promo credits. Why do I think that this is the case? That's because, well, normally it's the last 3 milestones that are the whale stones. 318,000, 359, and 400,000. That being said, that's at 200 cores. Now, what would happen if you're doing 400 cores daily? We could take a look at that. We would just basically add an extra 240 energy here in this portion here, and we can see that this actually will go up to about 322,000 milestone points. And that actually will get you milestone 18. What does Milestone 18 give you? Well, you get 450,000 blue 5 ions, you get 5 Armory 18 orbs, and I don't remember what micro dots are. Are those G8? I don't think they're G18. I think they're G17. So it's not super amazing value here unless you really want that 450,000 blue 5 ions. To get that 359, I don't even think we'll get that with 600 cores daily. But let's take a look. We'll add another 240 on top of that, and we'll get 350,000 points. So that is not the number that we need. It's close, actually, to the 359,000. So I don't think we'll get there. I think you would have to actually spend more than 600 cores, a little bit more than 600 cores daily. But after that, it jumps up to 800, and you'll for sure get it there. Just to double check, 800 cores daily. If you really wanted to do this, you will get there. But, you know, that's a lot of cores at that point. I would stick to either the 200 cores daily or the 400 cores daily. Personally, that's my plan there. I'm not expecting much, so I'm going to go as far as milestone 17 there and probably call it a day. So the war part is very easy to do. And actually, for a 7-day event, it's a very easy event, all things considered. You're just having to spend some cores in order to spend campaign energy, which you're then going to spend in the event store. 24 war battles over 3 wars, that's 8 per war. Make sure you do your war battle. That's important. It's a play war battle, though. So it's not, it could be a win or a loss, but make sure that you don't combat cancel. Anytime that you do a combat cancel, typically that does not count towards the points. So I want to be very clear. It's really important you do that, and make sure you shove as many of your War Avengers into like a crap attack as possible so that you can get all your points. I don't know, maybe not put Apocalypse in there with like your level 1 new Avengers. Just make sure you use them to get the additional points. That's going to be really important. And I just want to double check. I did add the 20,000. Yeah, I did add the 20,000 for that. So that's fine. So total reasonable score, 296,000. Milestone 17 should be possible, even though I'm pretty sure I said that down below. Final notes for the event. Using the same energy to currency ratio seems the most plausible given the expectations of milestones in general for Boundless. Most events want us to get us about a 3.5 star for a character release, and this does seem appropriate. They also have a habit of doing copy and pasting regarding some events. They've done this a lot of times, actually. So, like I said, if it's not a 1-to-8 ratio, I will correct. I almost is certain that that's probably going to be the case. Otherwise, it would have to be at least a 6. 6 to 8, I think, seems right. And if it's anything more drastic than that, I'll be sure to correct that and post the updated version in my Discord channel, which you'll find all of my resources available to you if you're interested in sharing it with your alliance or anyone else. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend on Sunday, and good luck on the event. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.